So today we're going to show you a few things that you need to watch out for when investing into supported housing. You wouldn't know it looking at today because it's bright and sunny, but it's actually -2. We're in the northeast and it's absolutely freezing. So how does the winter affect needs for supported housing? From our perspective, that means there's even more need for warm and safe places like this for people who are homeless or experiencing homelessness to have somewhere to live and somewhere to go when they need it. Obviously, there's loads of things that cause homelessness, but things that do make it worse and harder for people to bear is when the weather is like this, and it really makes you realise how much need there is when it's this cold. For me, one of the most important things is sustainability. I want to understand that the rent that we've set on this property is sustainable and sustainable for all of the stakeholders. Stakeholders are the local authority. The local authority needs to be getting a good deal for this property. I think what makes a good deal for the local authority is we can provide them with a better quality property for less than they would be able to get elsewhere, therefore saving them money on a like-for-like basis. I also want to make sure that the lease and the service charges and the support costs are set up in a sustainable way for the housing provider. I want to make sure if they're signing a lease for 5, 10, 20 years that they're actually able to continue to pay that lease and it's set up in a way that is just that, sustainable. And lastly, for an absolute worst case scenario, ultimate fallback plan, I want to know that if the whole supported housing industry wasn't here anymore, what could I rent this property for on the open market should Armageddon happen? So we set up our rents with all of those three things in mind, and that's what I believe makes it sustainable, and I think that's what you should check every single time.
One of the most important factors in owning a supported housing property is knowing that you've got a good, solid, long-term lease attached to that property. The security behind the lease is ultimately what's going to make you, the investor, the money. We need the security behind it because the supported housing provider needs to know that they've got a long-term property that they can use for the next 15 or 25 years. You as the investor need to know that you've got a long-term tenant, which is the housing association, for the next 15 to 25 years.
We're normally provided with a list of properties from our in-house source team, and then my job is to go around and check the initial inspection of what they've based on the project. A classic example is yesterday, so I went and did an inspection day, had 5 houses to look at that we're in the process of completing on, and actually one of them didn't work. We've pulled the plug on that since. And the reason it didn't work is because the estate agent's floor plans from which we'd done our initial calculations actually showed the building as 10 or 11 square metres larger than what they actually were in real life. And as a result, that to us is the equivalent of an extra bedroom, and therefore our numbers didn't work because we were a bedroom short. So we managed to save our investor in this time money by pulling out of the deal. In generic terms, what makes this house suitable for social housing is we fit everything back to brand new in terms of like heating and boiler, and then there'll be obviously gas safe certification and maintenance. There'll be a brand new first and second fix carried out electrically, and then this will also be signed off. We will also carry out fire escape plan alongside fire risk officers to ensure that the building is brought up to the relevant qualifications. If you have a unisex HMO, then the bedrooms need to have their own bathrooms, so that everyone has their own privacy without having to cross through hallways into bathrooms.
What type of people are going to live in this property? Young people that are either facing homelessness or currently experiencing homelessness. These are young people that would have grown up in this area and are from this area, have ties to the area and need to live in this town. And we can provide them with a safe and warm place to call home.
A frequent comment that we get is, well, that sounds too good to be true. Well, on the surface, we could see why you'd think that. However, when we break down the problem that we're solving, the alternative would actually cost an awful lot more. There is a massive homelessness crisis. There's also a lot of vulnerable people on waiting lists to get housing, and they could either be in temporary accommodation, unsuitable accommodation. What we do and the problem that we solve not only saves the UK government a lot of money, and indirectly other services like the police and the NHS, and gives people a chance to get back on their feet. Once you understand that, you can really see that actually it's not too good to be true.